Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Just as in mainstream Borderlands, it didn't take long for me to find my favorite weapon in a preview playthrough of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Gearbox Software's mashup of its 13-year-old shooter franchise with an off-the-rails, tabletop RPG actual play. Naturally, I forgot to write its name down. Whatever the case, in the hands of my character class, it encouraged reloading with ammo still left in the clip. It's a disposable rifle, which the Borderlands series has done before. Once done, you chuck the weapon, another teleports into your hands, and the discarded one blows up for some gratuitous violence. In Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, the dead rifle summoned some kind of netherworld spirit, which became a sentry gun tossing dark fireballs at nearby enemies. Considering the abundance of ammo chests that hostile goblins had left in this designated sub-boss showdown area, I started tossing rifles left and right, letting their demonic souls do my dirty work as my ultimate attack and magic spells completed their cooldowns. All this highlighted the most conspicuous evolution of Wonderlands from its predecessor, Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, an unexpectedly popular 2013 add-on to Borderlands 2. Dragon Keep was, like Wonderlands is, pure Borderlands, running and gunning with some clever dialogue interruptions to let you know Tina was the dungeon master of a bonkers module in the commensurately bonkers Bunkers and Badasses role-playing game. But in Dragon Keep, you're still running around with Borderlands classes and the main world's weapons. Gearbox has so far revealed 6 of the classes we'll be able to play as when we delve into Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Here are a few details about each as well as the video that breaks down their main abilities. Stabomancers, as you'd guess from the name, all about magic and knives, and stealthily summoning spells involving knives before disappearing into the shadows. Berserkers, melee brawlers who use frost abilities and brute force to freeze and crush enemies. Clawbringer. This is your typical hammer-wielding class, with AoE smash attacks, and the ability to chuck your hammer at enemies before it comes flying back into your hand. You also get a cute little dragon pet. Spellshot. If you like magic, this is the class for you, since these sorcerers are ambihextrows and can use both of their hands to perform spells at once, Skyrim style. You can also use their polymorph ability to turn enemies into skeep. Graveborn. These dark spellcasters are the epitome of glass cannon, trading health for high damage spells like their dire sacrifice ability. Similar to Clawbringer, they also have a floating skull friend that follows them around. Sporewarden. This is your quintessential archer class, with an arrow barrage ability and a frost cyclone spell that homes in on enemies. As the game is heavily inspired by tabletop RPGs, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands map features both a variety of dungeons, and an overworld with loot, quests, random encounters, and lots of different environments to explore, including one called Butt Stallion Castle. This is presumably where Wonderland's ruler, Butt Stallion, resides. Here are some of the ones we know about so far. Brighthoof, the capital of the Wonderlands and Butt Stallion's queendom, protected by the Diamond Guard, but recently dealing with enemy incursions. Butt Stallion's Castle. Known as Castle Sparklewithers, this glowing fortress is home to the ruler of the Wonderlands. Sunfang Oasis, a paradise of lagoons, lush foliage, and ancient ruins set in the middle of the desert. Unfortunately, it's also inhabited by the Coiled, who sound like snake monsters. Tangledrift. A beanstalk that has grown so large it has created its own ecosystem, with people living in homes out of harm's reach of the monsters below. You'll navigate these locations via a tabletop RPG-style overworld, moving your chibi-esque characters on a board, and tapping random encounters to enter separate mini-maps based on each. You can also get the full description of how this works on the official blog post. Aside from the trailer, 2K has also shared some information on what areas we can explore when we get our hands on the game. Crackmast Cove is a settlement full of pirates, and from the sound of it, not the most well-behaved bunch. Pirates are actually enemies in the game too, so we probably won't get a warm reception in the cove. Drowned Abyss, on the other hand, is located in the sea itself, an area made up of sunken ships and underwater enemies. From the sounds of it, some of the game's more monstrous enemies will lurk here. In Borderlands 3 we have rare spawns. Initially, these named enemies occasionally appeared if you went through their area. After community feedback, these rare spawns were adjusted so they would always appear. This made farming a breeze but very repetitive. In Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, I noticed these hidden spawns. These named enemies only spawned once you cleared out the whole area. I like that you have to work your way up to the encounter rather than jump in, target that one enemy, save and quit to repeat. I believe this challenge will make the loot more rewarding once you obtained its unique reward. This Tiny Tina's Wonderlands preview build is great and I had a lot of fun playing it. It looks great and the characters and missions are entertaining. I enjoyed building out my character and discovering which items I needed to combine for my ultimate build. I like that some things are more old school, and you have to put in some effort to get the thing. I know there is a balance there, but with Borderlands 3 I think Gearbox Software went a bit too far to right, and with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands they are dialing that back towards the left, letting legendaries feel legendary again. I can't wait until I get my hands on the full game. As for the story, I couldn't pick up much with regard to the overall campaign goal. A note to previewers said we were in an optional area of the main game. I was solving some workplace issues for a hapless group of enslaved goblins that I'd run across. Tiny Tina herself appeared to be supplying the voices for the NPCs and mission givers, and occasionally others seated at the table would offer wall-breaking asides, like asking for the always aggravating roll for Detect Magic. Wonderland's meta story looks like it will play a half-assing it adventuring party, including A-list comedians Wanda Sykes and Andy Samberg, with Will Arnett in the role of the big bad, against a frustrated DM who is taking things way more seriously. I didn't see Tina interpose directly on my story arc, but the game's menus are clear that she will rebalance the game, even if players elect to min-max their builds. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, first announced during E3 2021, will launch March 25 for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series 10, and Windows PC as a timed exclusive on the Epic Games Store. It'll be available on Steam later.